Okay.
Yay! Hi, Dr. Betty. I'm Ninka, and I'm so thrilled you are up to share the world with such an important message based on what happened recently with you. So happy you take your lessons and share it with everybody so the world can be protected from a hack on WhatsApp, isn't it?
Yes. Actually, it is. It's very scary when you get hacked. The moment when I got hacked, it was back in October of this year. It was just a month ago. When I got hacked, it took me 3 weeks to recover my account, and I got an email from actually a Facebook message from a friend of mine in the Netherlands, Asha, and she said, Dr. Betty, you never asked for money, and I just got a request for money. Are you okay? And it was 3 in the morning my time, and everybody knows that I wake up at 3 in the morning anyway. So um, I was up and I looked at it and I thought, oh no, let me go back and see on my WhatsApp. And I did not have control of my WhatsApp, and I panicked. I immediately panicked.
So isn't that wonderful? You have a trustworthy network that informed you because how could you have known in other way if no one takes the step to inform you? I think that's very important to realize that you don't know as long as you don't know.
Exactly. Yes. I think my network also knows me really well because I'm pretty transparent. And because they know me, they were able to inform me right away, right after Asha got that message. And this was within hours of the hacking that they immediately went to the different groups. Asha happens to be in a global group that I am part of. And so I panicked immediately because not so much for my account, but I was more panicking because I knew that I was rushing against time to get to every group that I belong to, which is many of them, to make sure that people would not send any money. Asha was knowledgeable enough not to do it, but a lot of people are. In fact, as of recently, I've been helping other people who've been hacked. And one person had a relative send $20,000 to a hacker. Another person got an acquaintance to send, the hackers got an acquaintance to send $5,000 within hours of being hacked. So they get to work. And what I found is these are huge organizations from abroad that utilize their knowledge and it almost feels like they have machines that are trying to get your number so that your number gets or your account gets blocked continuously so that you're not able to get on, which is really interesting once they take over.
Yeah. So at first I hear there was a fear, not so much for yourself, but for your network, what you preserve in a very trustworthy way, and that got hacked.
It did. The network got hacked. And the problem is, so this is what happened. So I immediately constructed, and I have a copy of it because I put it in a note. Um, I said, "Good morning, everyone. My WhatsApp was hacked last night. Would you mind cutting out and pasting this message into the group where we're together? Apparently, the hackers are asking for $800 for surgery, not something I would normally do. I can't get through to WhatsApp to alert them. They've asked that I consistently wait to get a code. Thank you kindly, Dr. Betty." And so I sent that message to um, somebody to put in the group. And the moment they put it in the group, the hackers deleted the message and closed the group so that only they, meaning the new administrator, would be able to post in those groups. So all of a sudden, nobody was able to post in the group because they caught on that I was sending individual messages And I have a lot of groups. So what I did, thank God for good friends, because I had trusted people in each of the groups that I belong to. And so what I asked, in fact, one group that I just formed for Hispanic Heritage Day or month, one of my girlfriends who is also in my prayer group that we've been together for like 1,300 days, she immediately reached out on her cell and said, Dr. Betty, what can I do to help? And I said, if you have the time, would you cut and paste this message to all 260 people in this particular group so that each of them knows not to click on anything and not to respond and just to delete the messages. And so I constructed a separate message to let them know I've been hacked. This is what you may get. And they're going to be asking for different amounts of money. Please don't click on anything and so forth. So they sent individual messages to each of my groups. So I chose one trusted person and asked, if you have the time, would you do this? And everybody, I can honestly say, everybody responded immediately. And I am so proud to tell you that no one in any groups has reported having lost any amount of money. And that is a huge success for me because we were running against time and we knew it. And within immediately we just kind of took over, and it took a while because I have so many groups and so many different people, but we got to everyone and nobody has reported. So knock on wood that nobody still
that's
reports
how
anything,
I got
but up
it.
until now.
I think that's how I got your message. I never got a asking for money request, but thank God I was approached by a stranger, a trusted friend from your group, to warn, so I could take my actions as well. So very important to be fast, but not in panic. That's what I hear from you. Keep breathing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So what happened next?
Well, as soon as I got everybody secure, what I found out through different friends and so forth, I also, by the way, I also put a sign, the same message, I put it on all of my social media, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter. I have 2 Facebook accounts, one a professional one and a personal one. On every single social media, I put a sign. And immediately, especially on Instagram, I got what was it? I can't tell you how many people saying, I can help you. I do this. I do this for a living. And I immediately thought, well, some of these will be the hackers. So I'm not going to respond to those. And in fact, I started deleting some of those because there's opportunists that will take those. And I didn't want to waste my time. So I went to my EO group, entrepreneurs organization, which I belong to. And I figured there would be some folks that would be part of cybersecurity. And so I talked to several cybersecurity specialists, and everybody said, I don't think you're going to be able to get it back because of the type of groups you have, they're going to be working on your groups for a while. And normally after 7 days, you will be able to go back in because WhatsApp was not answering. And by the way, WhatsApp doesn't answer. And as you know, WhatsApp is owned by Instagram. Instagram wasn't answering. Facebook wasn't answering. Instagram is owned by Facebook. Facebook wasn't answering. And
it's
so
all Meta,
nobody was answering. And I don't know. I just know that everybody was not answering. And so I knew that I was pretty much on my own. I had a friend of mine. You have to
figure it out yourself. You have to figure it out yourself because the platforms don't provide any support when you got hacked there, isn't it?
No, there was no support. There appears to be support. They tell you, even on WhatsApp, when you try to get on and you're not able to, they say, send a message to this number. And so I sent a message to that number saying, I got hacked. I have several, and I said, I have several groups. And the problem is, a lot of the groups that I have are confidential groups that I started when the pandemic started. And I was working with the United States Treasury, I'm sorry, United States Small Business Administration to help with the PPP, with the government subsidies. And I did that for 6 months. So I have a lot of groups that are very sensitive. And that was I was very anxious about that because of the sensitivity, this sensitive nature of some of the groups that I have. And even though I said I have a high sensitive nature of the groups and so forth, I got zero phone calls and I got zero emails from anybody.
What advice did you get from others?
The advice that I got from everyone was just, why don't you just open up a new number and just let it go. I also got the advice of wait until 7 days. At 7 days, you'll be able to reopen it. So I figured, okay, I'll just wait until 7 days. At 7 days, I tried to get my code and my code was blocked. It kept saying, and I kept taking screenshots of this and sending it to WhatsApp to the urgent email address because there was no phone number. And it said, because you've tried too many times, your account has been blocked.
Mm-hmm.
And so they were blocking it. But what I found, so after the 7 days and I wasn't able to get it, I thought, okay, well, shoot, I did a dissertation. Why don't I just study the behavior of these people? So I let it go.
That's a Betty move.
So I just let it go. And I started just watching and noting and writing down like, okay, they tried to get into my email address. So that now my email address, I was not getting any emails from them. So I thought, wait a minute, something's wrong. I asked a friend of mine, a male friend of mine, to send a message. I asked my husband also to send a message to WhatsApp on my behalf. They didn't answer my husband, but they did answer my other friend. And they said, okay, what's wrong? And he said, this is what's happening. And this is what's happening. He did about 3 communications and nothing then they ended up just not communicating at all with him. So I figured, okay, well, if they're not going to do that, then I'm just going to do this. So I started like really recording every time my phone didn't work or every time, because your phone is tied to it and so is your email address. So those two things are tied. I went back and through the cybersecurity specialist from my EO group, he did say, make sure that you have 2-step verification on everything. So I spent an entire day making sure that I had 2-step verification on all of my social media, making sure that I had it on all my bank accounts, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle, or other avenues through your bank. I know that in the Netherlands, you mentioned a little earlier that you have to have 2-step verification. In the United States, it's a choice. It's not a obligation. So you must go in and put 2-step verification. What's important about the 2-step verification is nobody can hack you unless, because as soon as somebody tries to even touch your account, you're going to get a warning on your phone and you're going to get an email. And that's what you want. And you want that in all of your accounts. So I did that first. And I continue to get, hey, please verify your email address. But it was only on one email address. And I noticed it's the email address that was tied to my WhatsApp.
Aha.
So I continue to verify it. And I thought, well, what can they do with my email address? Everybody knows that I was hacked. So if they get an email from me, they will know. And so I waited and I did nothing with my WhatsApp account. And I figured I'm going to wait long enough time after the 7 days that they will think that I've given up. And so that's what I did. I did absolutely nothing with it. Hands off, nothing with my account. continue to just communicate with people. And as people would send me messages, I would send them to WhatsApp just in case they would do anything. On the 13th day, I was delivering an Elevate program. And an Elevate program, just for those of you who don't know what it is, it's kind of my passion project, and it's a way that I help people kind of live a life of their dreams. And so it's a 3-day program or a 5-day program or an 8-month program.
It's leadership program, isn't it?
Yes, it's leadership, and it's business and life. It's all about your business and your life. So if you want a particular business plan,
self-leadership, business leadership, self-management in an elevated way. Great. Continue, please. What happened on day 13 in that program?
And so on day 13th, I was in the middle of the program. I had asked my client to do an exercise, and I had 3 minutes left of her finishing her exercise. And all of a sudden I got this, can you verify your account? And this was my email account. I thought, well, I've been trying to get my code so much that I got it down to seconds. So I could go from email to WhatsApp within seconds. And I knew that this was my chance to get it done, because it'd been long enough between the 7th day when I was trying to get my code so much and now. So I thought, okay, it's been long enough. I think I can get it right from under their nose. If they are focusing on my email right now, they can be on email and WhatsApp at the same time if it's one individual trying to get it done. And they probably relaxed, thinking that I had forgotten, not thinking that I was actually studying them. And it worked. So I verified my email, immediately went right into WhatsApp, got my code, did a 2-step verification on my WhatsApp, went right back to my email, took it back up, and did a 2-step verification. So I now had locked them completely out of WhatsApp and had locked them completely out of my email. I had already locked them out of my phone because I called AT&T and I let them know what had happened. And we put some steps to actually lock my phone already. So I knew that I had them. And I thought, oh my gosh. And then on WhatsApp, as soon as I got the code, it said, here are the steps to recover. Do you want to recover your own account? That's where I went and I said, yes, I want to recover my own account. And oh my gosh, I saw that it was going to be like 3 or 4 hours because I have so many groups and so many people. And I was just very patient and kept the phone on and kept it live, because you know how the phone goes into hibernation mode if you don't use it. So I just kept it live for the 4 hours. And I went to my client, I said, you're not going to believe this. I think I just took back my WhatsApp right underneath their nose. And that's pretty much how I did it.
So what I hear, Betty, is my dear friend, Dr. Betty, took back control because you studied the right things. And that's so you. So the first thing can be fear, not so much for your own safety, but the fear others can be having trouble because you got hacked. And from there, you really trusted your friends to do the right things and inform everybody on the side path to create clarity. From that clarity, you really were clear that you needed to have the patience. And you said you rested and you stopped. No, you didn't. You really studied everything what was necessary after you took the normal ways, what didn't work so far. So as not a person that gives up easily, you really took the next step, studied what needed to be done to secure everybody, yourself, your account, and others, particularly your very sensitive connections, so you can continue the important work you do in this world. On day 13, at dawn, you got your intuition, and you studied enough to be so rapidly fast to grab everything under their nose to take back control. I would have loved to see their faces anyhow. But I'm so pleased you studied and you did what you had to do. Normally, people will listen or either pay or take another phone number, which in your case, you had this number since 1988, isn't it?
Yes, since 1988, I have the
So
same number, and it's
why?
the way that people get a hold of me. Yep.
Yeah.
I have
So
so
you,
many people that call me for advice and past employees from 10, 20, 30 years
everything.
ago. Yeah. And
It's the
I have to
lifeline
be
to
able to
the
be there
world.
for them. Yeah.
Not so much because you are so attached to that perfect number, but it's your lifeline to others so you can continue to be at service. So that's it, why it's important to you, not because you're only attached to a perfect set of numbers. It's a portal you use for your trusted people. So I think it's very important and so pleased you are willing to share this, how to do this with the world, because otherwise most people will just listen, either get a new number or pay to the hackers. And then we support the hacking
Yeah.
system.
Well, I can tell you that somebody that is an expert in cybersecurity sent me a message and said, "Can you tell me how you got your account back?" And when this individual said, asked me, and I'm just a regular person, I'm not any better than anybody else. But when this individual asked me, I thought, oh my gosh, if they don't know, I need to tell the world, and I need to tell because so many people. When I got back to the US, I was in Colombia at the time. When I got back to the US, I went to I called my bank because they had returned a wire transfer that I had sent. And I thought, oh no. Well, thank goodness that they returned a wire transfer. I just didn't know the hackers had gotten into my account. So I called the bank, and the bank said, we're taking every precaution to make sure that we identify people that are sending out wires. And this was my Wells Fargo bank account. And they are just absolutely making sure that they get a hold of the person, the account holder, and before the wire is sent out, even though the wire was sent from my account. But they're doing that. And they actually, the normal verification, you know that I've been a banker for over 30 years, a banking executive for most of this time. And so I know they were taking even deeper precaution, and they asked deeper questions about my account above and beyond the normal security questions. So being patient with your bank is really important because they
Yes.
really are trying to protect your money. And so I was just so grateful because these poor operators, they could be taking a toll with people uh, try, trying to send a wire, but just be patient with your banks because if Wells Fargo did that, I have a sense that other banks also are taking that kind of precaution on behalf of their clients. And I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it's very important to give credit to that as well. And in the whole thing, what I hear all in your story is not only have patience with your bank, but also have patience with yourself. Because if you jump to conclusions, if you jump to, oh, I think I should, and whatever you come up from that in a rush, that's what the hackers will hope you will do. That's so
Yes.
important. So the big message is be patient, don't panic, and take the precautions what you want to take and what you feel what's really necessary as you did.
And whatever you do, I had a client call me yesterday. Their Instagram was hacked, and they received a message that said something like, "Good morning, my name is such and such. Your account has been taken over by us, and we request that you pay us 2,000 euro or $2,000 in the form of Bitcoin only." Or for us to turn that account over to you. The worst you can do in a situation like that is pay the money. Because once you pay the money, even if you get them down to a lower amount, once you pay the money, how do you know that they're not going to ask you for more? How do you know that they're not going to release the account and then they now have your information? They know you're going to pay and they hack you again and come back for more money. And I see things like that in banking trust me, I've seen it all in banking. And that is something that you really need to be careful with is uh, don't pay them because you don't know if they're going to come back again. It's
There's
better
no
that you
guarantee at
either,
all.
there are no guarantees. There are none. Absolutely.
No, the only thing what I hear also vividly in your story is please make sure you have your two-step verification in all important accounts you use. No matter if it's a social media, your banking, your YouTube, your whatever, your Vimeo, everything, just make sure, because if they have one wormhole going in, they can reach a lot. So have that two-step
Yes.
verification. Very important to be alert there, and just invest in yourself to create these two-steps verifications before it's too late. That's what I hear
Yes.
from you. Take your
Exactly.
time. It's
Yes.
worth it.
Yes, yes, take your time. And if you have any questions and you're live with us on my YouTube channel right now, go ahead and put the questions on the live chat, and I will go back and I'll answer your questions. I want this to be really short and concise so that we can share it with other people. I really thank you, Nancy. Thank you so much for doing this. I want to make sure that that we stop what's been happening. Everywhere I turn, people are getting hacked, and these individuals from overseas are taking advantage of people. When we go into a panic mode, we go into fight or flight. I remember telling my pastor, because we do have a WhatsApp group, and I couldn't even put I fight or flight, everything in your body wants to do something right away, and you can't. So all you can do is exhale. I've helped several people since I recovered it, and I went on again. I went right back, and I put signs, and I just recovered my account. This is what I did, and this is how I recovered it. This is what, please make sure that you put the two-step verification on everything you got. And if you haven't gotten hacked, then make sure that you do that. Please make sure that you do that.
Don't wait to be hacked to
That's,
to create it. You can
don't
do
wait
it
to
up
be hacked.
front.
Exactly. It's one of those 2x4s that that you can actually take a look at and know.
Prepare
So
and prevent. And
yeah.
I also know when emotion rises, intelligence drops. So people hope for this.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. So yeah, so that's it.
Thank you for sharing, Dr. Betty. Thank you for your generosity of letting the world know. And I really, truly, truly hope this will be a wake-up call for many people so we can counter back on all the hackers and outsmart them.
Absolutely. Let's outsmart them, all of us. This world would be a better place. Thank you so much, Nienke.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank you,
everybody.
Betty.